Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining today. We seek the blessings of Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Madhav, Krishna, Balaram, Bal, Gopal, Nasing, Natwan, Jagannath, Pradesh, Father Rani, Gonitai, Tulsi Mani, Haridas Thakur, Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So, continuing on with the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Canto number 4, chapter 23, he's talking about Prithu Maharaj. Maharaj Prithu's going back home. So when Maharaj Prithu grew old, he wound up his responsibilities, handed over the earth to his sons, and went to the forest, while the citizens lamented in separation. Now he was Saktavesha Avatar, which means a specially empowered personality. So when he got old, he left. He engaged in increasing levels of austerity with his wife, according to Vanaprastha rules. Finally, he lived simply by breathing air. His goal was to fully control his words, the senses, sexual impulse, life airs, only for the satisfaction of the Lord, of Krishna. So there we go. And in the summer, he would sit with the fire around him. His wife is Archie is serving him. King Prithu lovingly worshipped Krishna 24 hours a day. He was completely freed from false ego and fully realized that devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. Prithu realized Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Getting all instructions from him, he gave up all other practices of yoga and gyan. By yogic meditation, Prithu raised his life air from the anus up to the eyebrows to the Brahma Randra. So, the life air is situated anywhere in this body. Generally, it will be in the region of the heart, but it can go all the way down to the anus. But when the yogi performs his meditation, the idea is to raise that life air gradually from wherever it is up to the top of the head here, the Brahma Randra. So, and then the yogi will depart when it'll burst out from the soft part of the head. Then he merged his bodily elements with the totality of elements. Merged the mind, senses, ego into Mahatattva, then into Prakriti. Giving up Prakriti by the power of Gyan and Vairagya and by the force of Bhakti, being situated in Krishna consciousness, he gave up his body. Now we don't understand these elements because that Shakti is no longer available in the age of Kali Yuga. But there are incidences where yogis have left their bodies from the top of the head. In fact, it was, I think, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's grandfather departed in that way, I think it was. So anyway, there are some examples. Prithu's dedicated wife, Archie, had accompanied him to the forest. After his death, she lamented a while and then built a pyre for him, a funeral pyre for him, and then entered the fire herself while meditating on the lotus feet of her husband. The demigods praised her and showered flowers upon her for this brave act. The demigoddesses thus praised Archie's chastity and piety. Those who perform devotional service go back to Godhead. For such persons, there is nothing which is not available. Archie finally reached the topmost planet which her husband had attained. Maitri said that anyone who recites Prithu's pastimes faithfully will go back to Godhead. Hearing Prithu's pastimes gives benefits according to one's situation in life. A Brahmin becomes the most learned. Kshatriya becomes a leader of the world. A becomes a master of other Vaishya and cows. Shudra becomes the best devotee. That's really an incredible blessing. Even a pure devotee should hear his pastimes, for they enrich one's devotion. Whoever reads chants describes the history of Maharaj Prithu's activities will certainly increase unflinching faith and attraction for the lotus feet of the Lord. So that concludes the pastimes of Prithu Maharaj. So, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So then we're looking at the children of Prithu Maharaj. Vijitswa, the eldest son of Prithu, became the king and designated different parts of the world for his brothers to rule. He is known as Antardhan, an honorable title given by Indra. He had 3 sons who had previously been fire gods and another son by a second wife. He did not like taxing or punishing the citizens, so he retired to perform sacrifices as devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So these saintly kings, they were not attached to wealth, sense enjoyment, family, power. They were very renounced. Antadhan's grandson, Barhisat, also known as Prachina Bharhi, was expert at fruitive sacrifices and performed them all over the world. He married Satadruti, the daughter of the ocean, whose beauty attracted the minds of the demons and demigods alike. Prachina Bharhi and Satadruti had 10 sons, who are known as the Prachetas. They went to practice austerity in preparation for having children. But they met Lord Shiva, who instructed them in the matter of the absolute truth. Vidur inquired about the meeting of the Prachetas and Shiva. The Prachetas went to a beautiful lake filled with lotus flowers, decorated with various water birds, lakes, swans, and cranes. Drums and kettle drums, along with music, heralded the arrival of Lord Shiva, who looked very mercifully upon the devotees with his 3 eyes. So, Lord Shiva appearing before the Pachetas. They were doing great austerities. Lord Shiva said he was pleased with the Pachetas because they were gentle, pious, and surrendered devotees of the Supreme Lord. Lord Shiva described how one can be elevated to the position of Brahma by perfect performance of one's prescribed duties for 100 births. So this is the qualification. If one wants to become Lord Brahma and be involved in the secondary creation, one has to be a brahmachari for 100 births, performing one's devotional prescribed duties. However, one who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service unto Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu can immediately reach the spiritual world. This is the power of bhakti. So powerful. No need for 100 births. Shiva appreciated the Pachetas as respectable as the Lord himself, and they were very dear to him. Thus, he wanted to teach them the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. So now, this is the Rudra Gita. It's described to me the Rudra Gita. Lord Shiva worships Chaturvyu. So this is very interesting. And within the Chaturvyu, and that is basically Padumna, Sankarsan, Aniruddha, and Padumna. Hang on, what did I say? Hang on, I think I've got it here somewhere. There it is, good. Lord Shiva asks the Pachetas to carefully hear a prayer to the Supreme Lord. The prayer begins by describing Lord Krishna's Chaturvyu in detail. He prays to Vasudev, or Vasudev actually, the deity of consciousness, which is Chitta. Chitta means consciousness, the supreme controller. To Sankarsan, the deity of false ego, Ahankar, the master of integration and disintegration. To Pradyumna, the deity of intelligence, Buddhi, master of intelligence. To Aniruddha, the deity of mind, Mana, master of the senses and mind. So these four constitute this Chatur Viha. Though the mind has already been purified by offering respects to its worshipable deity, Aniruddha, because the mind is difficult to control, Lord Shiva again purifies it by offering respects to the presiding deity, the moon or Soma. So this is Lord Krishna, first expansion, Balaram, and then we have this Chaturvya. Vasudev, Sankarsan, Padumna, Aniruddha. Then from Sankarsan comes Aniruddha. And actually it says Lord Shiva worships constantly Sankarsan. But anyway, from Narayan comes the second Chaturvya. And then we have the Vishnus. Lord Shiva described how Lord Krishna as the original source of satisfaction for all living entities, maintainer of everyone, the revealer of everything through the expansion of his transcendental sound vibrations. As death, as greatest of all, as the source of all knowledge. Lord Shiva repeatedly offered his respectful obeisances to the Lord, remembering in this way, purifying the body, senses, and mind. By offering respects, Lord Shiva became qualified and prayed to see the Lord. Lord Shiva requested to see the form of Lord Krishna that is especially dear to his devotees. He described the Lord's ever-increasing beauty, which resembles a dark cloud during the rainy season. With his mind-attracting smile and his sidelong glance upon his devotees. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are especially beautiful since they destroy all darkness in the hearts of his devotees. So Lord Shiva is meditating, prayers, offering prayers, and the Lord gives him darshan. Lord Shiva glorified devotional service as the ultimate engagement for everyone and goal as well. Devotees of the Lord are powerful, rare beings who can purify others, and they are beyond the control of time. So this is another thing. If one performs devotional service, time is no longer controlling them because they're under the control of the Lord, and time does not affect the Lord. Lord Shiva desired the devotees' association, for devotees are not bewildered by the external energy and are merciful to the conditioned souls. Even a fraction of a moment's association can free one from karma and jnana. So devotees' association, even just for a little while, can be extremely powerful. Lord Shiva explained how the impersonal Brahman is Krishna. He describes the Lord's different energies and expansions in the material world, his universal form and Paramatma. He described the creation and destruction of this world and how the living entities suffer due to greed for enjoyment, sense enjoyment. This world is created to give facility to the living entities who want to imitate the activities of the Lord. So here we are trying to become the Lord by trying to load it over this material world, which is very hard to do. Because this world is perfectly imperfect. No matter how hard we try, we'll always fail because of something called death. We have to change bodies. And at that time, everything is lost. And in the next life, we have to start all over again. This world is created to give. Oh, yeah. It is just like a mother giving toys to her children who want to imitate her cooking in the kitchen. Mhm. The Lord enters the creation in 4 kinds of forms, which are born of embryo, eggs, perspiration, seeds. Real knowledge means to understand that one must worship Bhagwan Sri Krishna, who is the ultimate destination. Lord Shiva concluded by asking the Pachetas to chant this prayer while remembering the lotus feet of Krishna. This prayer is the yoga system of chanting the holy name. It is first spoken by Lord Brahma to the Prajapatis so they could be empowered to create. One who chants this prayer will easily achieve spiritual perfection. Invoke the mercy of the Lord and please the Lord and get anything he wants. So this is the Rudra Gita, which is advised by Lord Shiva for the Pachetas to chant. So let's do one more. After Lord Shiva departed, so this chapter is entitled The Descriptions of the Characteristics of King Puranjana. After Lord Shiva departed, the Pachetas stood in the water for 10,000 years reciting the prayer Lord Shiva had given them. Amazing how they remembered that prayer, because their minds at that time, they were very fertile. They could remember everything that was said to them without it having to be repeated. Meanwhile, their father, King Prachinabarhi, was performing sacrifices. Narad Muni approached him to give him spiritual instructions and asked him what is the goal of his fruitive activities. So he was trying to perform the sacrifice to please the devatas, to obtain material enjoyment. But Narad Muni wanted to elevate him. Will it be possible to get rid of miseries and attain happiness by doing karma? Since his intelligence was entangled in karma, the king requested Narad to give him pure knowledge so he may know how to get free from material entanglement. So Narad Muni is very kind-hearted. Narad warned that the animals he has sacrificed want revenge. He will therefore be punished by them after his death. By the power of yoga, Narad showed the king the sacrificial animals he had killed without compassion, waiting for him in the sky. Indulgence in animal sacrifice is risky because as soon as there is a small discrepancy, the slaughtered animal may not be promoted to a human form of life. That's the whole idea of these sacrifices. But the Brahmins have to be very precise with the recitation of the mantras. And the purity of the sacrifice has to be at a very high level so that the animal is promoted to human life. But if there's any fault, then that doesn't happen. And the person performing the sacrifice will be responsible, like a murderer. This is where karma kicks in. That animal will be waiting for the person who's doing the sacrifice to kill him. He then began to recount the story of King Puranjana, one who enjoys in the body. Puranjana means one who enjoys in the body. Puranjana had a friend called Avigyata. That's also Paramatma. Although Puranjana traveled everywhere, he was unable to find a satisfactory place to reside. Wherever he went, he felt a feeling of insufficiency. Finally, he found a city of 9 gates. 9 gates is our city, the material body. What are the 9 gates? The 2 eyes, the 2 ears, nostrils, the mouth, anus, genitals. Which had all auspicious facilities. It had parks, golden domes, floors of precious stones, beautiful trees and creepers. The description of the city correlates to our body. E.g., the walls are the skin, parks are the hair, windows are the eyes, gates are the eyelids, and the capital is the heart, etc. King Puranjana met a beautiful woman, Puranjani, who was searching for a husband. She had 10 servants with her, and each servant had hundreds of wives accompanying him. These are the 10 senses with many desires. They both engage in flirtatious conversation, becoming mutually attracted to each other. Puranjana asked many questions to her about her identity and the identity of her associates. The girl admitted she did not know about her circumstances or her associates, except that the snake protects the city even at night. So the living entity in this material world is ignorant, does not know his origin. We don't know where we come from. We don't even know who we are. We don't know the purpose and source of material creation. And ultimately, we don't know the Lord. She assured Puranjana that she will fulfill his desires and he can stay in the city for 100 years and enjoy material life. She glorified household life as auspicious for everyone. Thus, the two united in marriage and lived together in the city. The 9 gates of the city and the way in which the king enjoyed each of them is described. These 9 gates are the 9 openings of the human body described in a poetic analogy. So, these are the 9. Left ear, left eye, right eye, 2 nostrils, mouth, right ear, left ear, genitals, rectum. And I'm not too familiar with these things here. The gates of cities or the destination and the accompanying friends. So we skip all that. It's quite a lot of detail. There are 3 states of Puranjana. Jagarti, his enjoyment for 100 years is his wakeful state. Swapna, playing with women in his dream state. Because the senses do not function at this time, actions continued by the impressions, the women. So this is dreaming, basically. Susupti, he enters the river, the space in the heart where the jiva resides during deep sleep. So these 3 states we all actually experience at some point. Further activities of Puranjan are described. He is completely controlled and manipulated by his wife, to whom he is overly attached. When she drank, he drank. When she ate, he ate. When she cried, he cried. When she walked, he walked behind her, etc., etc. Puranjana was cheated of his own nature. Even against his desire, he remained under her control, just like a pet animal. So this is really describing our situation, especially if we are attached to somebody in this material world for enjoyment, sense enjoyment. This is our situation. So by telling this story of Puranjana, Narad Muni is trying to wake up Prachina Bharhi. So Surinder, anything you'd like to share?
Yes, Prabhu. So speaking is about Prithu Maharaj. Yes, Prithu Maharaj, he did a lot of austerities and is very exemplary. I remember the earth was not flat in the
Yes, that's right.
hills, and he flattened the earth.
Yeah.
He did so many great service, and we are reaping his hard work.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yes, but he's exemplary, like in terms of performing devotional service. He's very dedicated with his wife, and also then we come to Lord Shiva, the song sung by Lord Shiva, and he gave this. It's mentioned like it's called a stotram. Similarly, our Guru Varga, our Param Gurudev has given us Prem Dham Deva Stotram.
Right, right.
Yes, yes, we like that. So Prachetas, they followed the instruction of Lord Shiva, and they recited those stotram given by Lord Shiva in glorification of Lord Krishna, prayers glorifying Lord Krishna. This is exemplary, so we try to follow the footstep of the Prachetas in reciting stotram. In our case, we have Prem Dham the stotram, which is very, very fantastic. And then here, this one is a preaching by Narada Muni to King Prachinabharhi.
Yes.
Was doing these fruitive activities. And because these fruitive activities, they are reactionary, he was doing this animal sacrifice. And anyhow, we are not allowed to do animal sacrifice in Kali Yuga. And the only sacrifice we are allowed is Harinam Sankirtana.
Mm.
Yagya. Harinam Sankirtana Yagya. Jai. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Nice summary. Thank you so much. And very nice point at the end. Harinam Sankirtan is our prescribed duty in this age of Kali. Any questions? Any comments?
Okay.
Yes.
When it says that time does not affect those devotees who are doing
Yes.
what does it mean actually?
Basically, because the Lord takes charge of the devotees, if they are fully engaged in devotional service, time does not affect them. This body will finish, but basically, because they're already connected with the Supreme Lord, they are under his protection, and time serves the Supreme. Time is not a destroyer of the Lord. Otherwise, time destroys everything, right? For example, our body, eventually time will destroy it because of old age. And then we will be bound in the, like the next life, karma, reincarnation. But the devotee, he does not take the reincarnation. He's under the protection of the Lord. He's taken back to the spiritual world. So time does not impact the devotee in taking another birth. Otherwise, we are controlled by time. As soon as our time is up, bang, next body.
Okay.
But the devotee, he goes back to the spiritual world.
Okay.
Yeah.
To stop the cycle of rebirth.
Stop the cycle of rebirth, yeah, which is controlled by time.
By time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for that question. Appreciate that. Okay, if there's nothing else, I can stop. Srimad Bhagavat Purana ki jai.